I'm back. Thank you for all your responses and comments on my introduction to understanding loss. I thought I'd give you a little bit more as a teaser, and I am working on an event which most probably will happen next week. I will be posting it and keeping you updated. First of all, I want to start by saying that loss does not have a specific space that it starts with. Although we sometimes start by explaining the stages of loss or this river of loss with denial, it doesn't always start with denial. We can start in anger and then go back to denial. So just keep that in mind, that there is no set thing of you should be here and then you should be here. Remember what I said in the first session, no rules. Not one of our fingerprints are the same. We will start differently depending on our circumstances. But to explain loss a little further with you, I want you to think of the time when you got a speeding fine. Yes. You know that feeling. You're driving, minding your own business, listening to your favorite radio station, and minding your own business. And all of a sudden, this little maniki jumps out and jumps in front of you. Immediately, there is a disbelief of note. What the hell is the speeding limit here? We knock on the dashboard. Maybe the speedometer is not working. We check the mirror. Maybe they're stopping the guy behind us. Disbelief is an instant thing. We become so creative in making an excuse of denying, of not believing what has happened. That is denial. And then you leave and you've been given a 700 Rand speeding fine. Yes, I know. You drive off with your finger sticking out of the window. I do know that. And that is the next stage. We want to blame someone for this thing. The stupid government, the stupid bloody speed cop, the secretary who made this appointment. And then we have the cheek to spread our anger throughout the day and months even. We don't just be angry in the car. No, we are angry with the speed cop. We come to the office, we shout at the secretary, we slam the phone down, we kick the dog. We spread it like Rama margarine. That's not responsible, but we do that anyway because that reality hasn't sunk in. That this cannot be true. This is unfair. This shouldn't have happened. That is anger. Then in that anger, we throw the ticket down and we go on with our life as if nothing has happened. And 2 days before the ticket has to be paid, there's this little voice in here that whispers in your ear, when must the ticket be paid? And immediately, out of denial again, back into anger, where the hell is that speeding fine ticket? I left it on the table. And again, we're back there, blaming, not taking responsibility. Where's that bloody thing? I left it here. You must always sort out anything. Blaming and dumping our feelings of frustration. Eventually, we find it under a stack of papers. Oh gosh, it has to be paid within 2 days. And all that anger dumping happens again. And sometimes we allow the anger to make us tear up the ticket and they can come and find me. And we feel very strong and in control. But it's a temporary thing. It's a false thing. It's not responsible. And so what happens is, then we realize, Sherbet, this has to be paid within 2 days. All this fighting and moaning is not going to help. What am I going to do? Oh gosh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to find this money? And the amazing thing happens. The moment we ask ourselves, what am I going to do? It's as if someone has put the light on and we can actually see, oh my gosh, this is a reality happening to me. I have to participate. I have to do something with it. And again, in that moment, we're given an option to participate. And sometimes we start exploring. Maybe I can tell them I was on my way to a dying patient. Maybe I can say I'm only a pensioner. And we become very creative in the excuses. It's still not responsible. However, some of our bargainings sometimes work. Some of us even start with bargaining. The moment the speed cop comes to us, we already pull our blouse down and we flirt our eyes and we pass our ID with 200 Rand in it. We can start with bargaining, you understand? And so we do, and bargaining is an amazing stage because it allows us, excuse me, to explore what options are available, what choices do we have. And yes, we have to be conscious and we have to be responsible, because some of our choices are not always responsible. We can lie. We can even go and steal money to pay that ticket. We can do a whole lot of stuff, but the wheel turns. We're just planting a seed that we are going to have to face and pull out one day. And so in that bargaining stage, it is where we have the opportunity to look at ourselves as a whole person and say, I can do something physically, I can do something mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and actually I can start working with this loss rather than trying to get out of it or trying to dump it on someone. For the first time in bargaining, we are starting to become involved. And if we do it in a responsible way, we can actually start shifting in this river of loss. We sometimes come to the point where we're realizing, oh, there's nothing I can do. I just have to take that last 700 Rand and I have to go and pay this ticket. And all of a sudden we have this empty, sad, hollow feeling, and we feel depressed. And we feel sorry for ourselves, and we feel vulnerable, and we feel not so nice. Yes, now we have moved to depression. And depression is a no-no. We don't talk about it. We don't go there. People are afraid of depression. Yet for the first time since we got that speeding fine, what is happening is for the first time we are facing it and we are feeling it. Emotionally, we are now starting to participate in this thing that we have lost. In denial, we're just not there. In anger, we are dumping it somewhere. In bargaining, we are trying to get out of it. But depression offers us the opportunity to face it and to feel it, to take ownership of it, to express it, to release it, and to heal it. And yes, we do feel vulnerable. And yes, we can get stuck there. We can feel sorry for ourselves. We can feel overwhelmed. However, there is a beautiful gift within depression, which I will tell you more about. Then there are some of us who still drive fast in that same spot. There's some of us that still ignore that there is a rule. There's some of us that just go on as if nothing has happened. What has happened now is that we have become resigned to the fact. And being resigned is actually a horrible place to be, because it's where we believe we have no choice. Oh, well, what can I do? That's just the rule of the life. Well, I pay the bloody thing. We pay it, but we don't really heal it completely. We still haven't got the lesson or the gift of this whole experience. Because if I could get to that spot and remember this is the speed limit, and slow down with a smile on my face and an attitude in my mind that is supportive and responsible, I can move on, get the lesson, and not have to repeat it again. But if I still drive fast there, as if there is no speed limit, if I still get angry and pissed off and want to blame everyone, I'm still in anger. I haven't moved. If I'm still thinking about, shit, I could have bought this and I could have done that with that money, I'm still bargaining. If I'm still feeling sorry for myself and feeling alone and rejected, I'm stuck in depression. And that's whenever we feel stuck in any of those stages and we overstay our welcome, life tends to kick us and we slip into that place called resignation. And resignation means to give up. What are we giving up? We give up hope, we give up choice, we give up our power, and sometimes we give up on ourselves. Yes, sometimes we commit suicide there. Sometimes we don't, but we become the living dead. There's a beautiful saying that says some of us die at 17, but we only get buried when we are 72. We give up on life. That is not life. I will tell you more about that. Then we come to acceptance. If I have worked through the attitude, the beliefs, if I have taken responsibility for how I drive and what I do, and if I've gone and paid the ticket, and when I get to that spot, I accept that this is the rule, and I have peace. You must understand that when this process is on its go, we're not just in denial and then we're in anger. Sometimes we can be in all of those stages in one sentence. And that is why grief is so overwhelming. I can be fine, angry, depressed, and work myself out of it in one go. So it is a very confusing and very overwhelming time. And there is a war zone within us. Because anger is fighting with denial, and denial is fighting with depression, and depression is fighting with bargaining. And outside of us, remember, everyone is also experiencing what I'm experiencing. And people are fighting with me or avoiding me or wanting to fix me. And so there's a war zone inside of us and around us. And that stops us. That creates conflict. But when we can work through this, when we can take this loss and we can explore it, and we can use this opportunity to unpack some of the emotions that we've been stockpiling. I always say to people, we have to survive. And we do, miraculously. But we forget to sometimes go back to the wound, to check into the wound and say, has it healed completely? We also have a lot of stuff that we have to dump, like in a dustbin. But there comes a point when the dustbin becomes full within you. And when the dustbin is full, all it wants is to be released. But if we don't voluntarily go there and release it, it has to start coming out. So even if we want to say morning, it comes out morning. You know what I'm saying. So we have a responsibility to use this opportunity that loss gives us to empty out the dustbin, not just of this loss, but all the many that we have stockpiled because we had to survive. You must understand, God always gives us the opportunity to grieve. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Sometimes when something has happened 10 years ago and people feel the stuff, and I say to them, what happened 10 years? Ach no, I'm over that. I worked with that. No, you didn't. Those things are still unfinished. And until we heal every aspect of us, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it will be unfinished business. So when we can start feeling peace within us, and we start having peace with those around us, we start having understanding and compassion, that is when we have made a shift. When we can look at this loss and saying, what did this loss bring me? What gift came with this loss? What wisdom have I gained because of this loss? Now I can own it. Now I can let go of the pain and keep the wisdom and move on. And sometimes acceptance is about learning the lesson. It's about accepting something. It's about making peace. Sometimes it's about forgiveness. Forgiving self, forgiving someone else in the process. Sometimes it's about accepting and embracing life without something in it like we used to have. It's going beyond the comfort zone. And so this river of loss is an amazing journey which I can't wait to take you on. So please stay posted. I will be advertising an event soon, an online event, and please join me. I love you. Take care of yourself.